He was still lying in our bed when I let the air out of all 4 tires on his truck. Quiet as a shadow, I moved. They didn't hear a thing. They never saw what was coming. It's exactly 11:37 p.m. when I pull into the driveway and shut off the engine. I don't step out right away. That 2-story house in front of me is supposed to be my home, but lately, it feels more like a museum. Just dusty displays of a life I barely recognize anymore. The name's Ethan Walker. I'm 48, a senior software engineer working for a tech firm out in Denver. There was a time 20 years back when I was full of fire. I had goals, drive, ambition. Now I'm just going through the motions, stuck in a loop of code, emails, and lukewarm coffee. I glance up at our bedroom window just as the light flickers on. Vanessa's still up. My wife of 21 years. The same woman I once couldn't stand to be away from for more than a day. These days, we just orbit each other. 2 strangers sharing the same roof, exchanging small talk about groceries or school events, like colleagues more than partners. I can't even tell when things started to fall apart. There was no big moment, just a slow drift, like watching your favorite photo fade on the wall until you barely recognize it anymore. She's probably pretending to be asleep already. I mutter under my breath as I grab my laptop bag from the passenger seat. Lately, Vanessa's favorite excuse is being tired. Tired of talking. Tired of doing anything together. Tired of being touched. Intimacy disappeared from our lives so slowly I didn't even notice until it was gone. Now the thought of being close to her feels strange, like trying to speak a language I forgot years ago. The house is quiet when I walk in. Just the low hum of the fridge in the kitchen. A pile of dirty dishes sits in the sink. They had dinner without me again. I'm not shocked. I'm not even disappointed anymore. That's just how things are now. As I head upstairs, I pass by Caleb's room. My 17-year-old's door is shut tight, muffled bass thumping through the walls. The school called last week again. That's 3 unexcused absences just this month. His grades are in freefall. I found empty beer cans hidden in his closet. Tried talking to him, and all I got was a whatever, Dad, and a slammed door. The same kid who used to beg me to play catch now barely acknowledges I exist. Next is Emma's room, quiet, like always. She's 14. Used to light up the whole house with her laughter. Now she barely speaks. Hides behind her hair and clings to her earbuds like they're a lifeline. At our last meeting, the school counselor brought up signs of mild depression, but Vanessa brushed it off as just normal teen stuff. I stop outside our bedroom and take a long breath before I push the door open. Vanessa's sitting in bed, scrolling on her phone, not even looking up. "Hey," I say. "Hey," she replies, still locked onto her screen. "There's lasagna in the fridge if you're hungry." "Thanks," I mumble. That's it. Conversation over before it even started. In my home office, I drop my bag and fire up the computer. The screen glows to life, revealing a folder I haven't dared to open in weeks. Untold stories. Inside are bits and pieces of unfinished writing, little sparks of the man I used to be. Back when I dreamed of being a writer. Before the bills, the college savings plans, and the constant grind drained it all out of me. I click on one file, read a few lines, then close it. The words feel like they were written by someone else, someone who still had hope. Most mornings I wake up with this heavy, choking thought. Is this really it? And every day, I shove it down, buried beneath to-do lists and obligations. I've got a family that depends on me, even if they barely see me. Who am I to question the life I built? What would I even do differently? But lately, new questions have been creeping in. Like, why did Vanessa suddenly chop off her hair after years of the same style? When did she start using that new perfume? Why does she leave for work earlier now? Tiny things. Harmless, maybe. But together they start forming a picture I don't want to look at. Last week, I found a charge on our credit card from a high-end lingerie store. I can't even remember the last time she wore anything other than flannel pajamas to bed. And here I am now, sitting in my car at midnight, watching our bedroom window, watching her silhouette laugh at something on her phone. That laugh, it used to be mine. My stomach knots, the suspicion I've been avoiding now loud and clear. Is Vanessa seeing someone else? I sit there in the driveway, keys in hand, staring at the house I built, paralyzed. I don't know what scares me more, the idea of losing everything or realizing I already have. And just when I think the night can't hit any harder, I wake up Tuesday morning with a blinding headache. Vanessa's already gone. Her side of the bed barely looks touched. At work, the code on my screen turns into meaningless shapes and the conference room lights feel like spotlights on a stage I didn't sign up for. Even my boss, Dave, notices. "Jesus, Ethan, you look like hell," he mutters after the meeting clears out. "Go home. Whatever's going around, I don't want it." I don't argue. I just leave. By noon, I'm back in the car, blasting the heat against the bitter December air. My thoughts feel like shattered glass in my head. But when I turn onto our street, something stops me cold. There's a blue pickup truck parked in our driveway. It wasn't parked by the curb like a visitor's vehicle should be. No, that blue pickup was smack in the middle of our driveway like it belonged there. Like he belonged there. A thin layer of snow dusted the hood and windshield, which told me it had been sitting there for a while. This wasn't some quick delivery or a technician stopping by. This had been planned. My heart kicked into high gear as I eased to the curb and killed the engine. I just sat there, staring at the house that looked calm on the outside like nothing was wrong. But that truck screamed something was very wrong. When I step inside, the silence is eerie. No TV murmuring in the background, no footsteps overhead, no Spotify playlist humming from the kitchen speaker. Just stillness. Vanessa told me she'd be at work all day. Some major project she couldn't really explain. The kids are supposed to be in school. So why does the house feel occupied? Her shoes are by the front door, tossed haphazardly, not neatly lined up on the rack like she always insists. Her coat? Draped over the back of the couch instead of hanging in the hallway closet. Then I see the mugs. Two of them sit side by side on the coffee table. One has a lipstick stain, deep red, a shade Vanessa never wears. The other is a large, masculine-looking mug. Not one I've seen before. I pick up a throw pillow and press it to my face. The scent that hits me is sharp, earthy, a high-end men's cologne. Definitely not mine. Not anyone I know either. My feet move on their own, guiding me upstairs. I'm careful. I know which steps creak. Years of coming home late have taught me how to move like a ghost. Halfway up, I hear it. Her laugh. But not the polite laugh she saves for parties. This is her real laugh, the kind she used to give me back when we still mattered to each other. It's followed by a man's voice, low and intimate, but I can't make out what he's saying. The door to our bedroom is cracked open and a warm sliver of light spills out into the hallway. I freeze. My body won't move forward, but I can't walk away either. My breathing goes shallow. A part of me wants to turn around, pretend I never came home early, let the illusion of our life stretch just a little longer. But deep down, I know that illusion's already shattered. Step by step, I inch forward. I don't make a sound. And there it is, our bed. The same bed where we made our children. The same place we once held each other through grief, sickness, fear. Vanessa's lying on it, hair sprawled across the pillow, her head resting on the bare chest of a man I've never seen before. He's young. Mid to late 20s, tops. She's tracing shapes on his chest with her fingers, laughing at whatever he's whispering to her. I don't explode. I don't feel rage. I feel nothing. Just this cold, weightless numbness. Like I've stepped outside my own life and I'm watching someone else's world collapse. I reach into my pocket and pull out my phone, hands steady. I line up the shot through the crack in the door. Vanessa's face clear as day. Click. Her hand on his chest. Click. Their bodies tangled up on the bed we once called ours. Click. I don't storm in. I don't shout. I don't demand answers. Because in that split second I realize I don't need answers. I already have them. And now I've got the evidence too, digital proof of the truth I've been trying not to see. I need to get out. That thought hits me like a freight train. I have to leave this life behind. Slowly, quietly, I back away from the door. Every step feels like peeling off another layer of the life I thought I knew. My eyes sweep over the family photos lining the hallway. The scuffed wall where we marked Caleb and Emma's height year after year. It doesn't feel like home anymore. It feels like a memory museum curated by someone named Ethan Walker who doesn't exist now. Downstairs, I pause by the front door. One last thing before I go. I head to the trunk of my car, grab my toolbox, and kneel beside that blue pickup. The valve stem tool slips easily into place. In under 2 minutes, I've deflated all 4 tires. No punctures, nothing permanent, just a little roadblock in their happy afternoon. It's not revenge. Not really. It's just a way to take back a shred of control in a world that suddenly doesn't make sense. Snow starts falling again as I drive off, soft flakes erasing my tire tracks behind me. They won't even know I was there. Not yet anyway. 3 hours later, I'm in a cheap roadside motel, the kind with physical keys and buzzing neon signs that flicker like they're about to give up. The room smells like industrial-grade cleaner and stale cigarettes. The wallpaper is stained, the lampshade yellowed from age. It's the kind of place people come to disappear, and for now, that's exactly what I need. Sitting on the sagging mattress, laptop open on my knees, I start trying to make sense of the wreckage. The pain in my chest is still there, but it's shifted. Hardened. Sharpened. I've spent 2 decades solving problems no one else could figure out. Complex systems, bugs, crashes, you name it. Now I've got a new project, tearing myself free from this broken marriage. I create a new folder on my desktop. Title at the end of Vanessa Walker. Inside, I open a blank doc and type the first sentence. Everything died on a December afternoon. The flickering desk lamp throws shadows across the screen, and for the first time, I realize something. The man who woke up this morning in that quiet Denver suburb, he's gone. He didn't make it past that bedroom door. Whoever I am now, I'm about to find out. From this point on, I know I need to keep track of everything, every message, every call, every word. Documentation will be my armor. My next move? Find a divorce attorney who knows the ins and outs of asset division like the back of their hand. I have to lock down our accounts before Vanessa gets the chance to panic and bleed them dry. Through it all, I'll keep up appearances. No drama, no raised voices. Just normalcy until the groundwork is set. This isn't revenge. This is extraction. Clean. Strategic. Precise. I move the photos from my phone to the laptop, create a new folder, and label it simply Proof. Each image feels like a good punch, but I force myself to study them as if I'm analyzing corrupted code. I rename each file with a timestamp and location. Vanessa's face is clearly visible in all of them. So is the guy, and something about him tugs at my memory. Then it hits me. A health insurance card had slipped onto the passenger seat of that blue pickup. The name on it, Logan Price. A quick search on LinkedIn confirms it. Logan Price, insurance sales rep at Colorado Mutual. There he is, grinning in his profile photo, early 30s, clean-cut, exactly the kind of man Vanessa would be drawn to. Younger. Leaner. Unburdened. A few clicks later, I find his Facebook, wide open, shockingly public for a man with so much to hide. There he is with his wife, Tessa Grant, and their 2 small kids. Beach trips, Christmas mornings, anniversary selfies captioned with stuff like 8 amazing years with my soulmate. The hypocrisy makes my jaw tighten. Without giving myself time to second-guess, I open a new email account. I attach the 3 clearest photos and write. I'm the husband whose wife is sleeping with your husband. These were taken today in my house. You deserve to know the truth. I don't want anything from you. Just honesty. I hit send. No edits. No hesitation. This isn't about revenge. It's about pulling the curtain back on all the lies. It's about giving someone else a chance to reclaim their own life the way I'm trying to reclaim mine. My phone buzzes again. Vanessa. Call number 7 in the past hour. I don't even check the screen. I silence it, then flip it face down on the nightstand. A few minutes later, a text pings through. I can explain everything. Please come home. Let's talk. I delete it without opening. What is there left to explain? 3 days later, I'm back at work. I haven't told anyone what happened, but the looks say it all. I walk into the break room and the chatter stops. People suddenly find the floor tiles fascinating. In suburban Denver, gossip travels faster than light. I don't know if it leaked from Vanessa or from Logan Price's side, but it's out. Janet from accounting catches me alone near the copier. If you need anything, she says, soft and hesitant, her hand almost reaching out. I'm good, I say flatly. But thank you. I owe no one my story. That evening, I step out into the biting December wind. As I cross the lot toward my car, I hear it. Walker. I turn to see Logan Price storming toward me, fists clenched, face twisted with fury. His designer coat is flying open in the wind, flapping like some ridiculous cape. You destroyed my family, he spits when he gets close. Tessa took the kids and left. She's talking divorce. I stare at him, this man who's been inside my home, inside my wife. And now he stands here like he's the victim. I didn't destroy anything, I say coldly. You did that all by yourself. I just held up a mirror. You had no right, he snaps. I had every right, I cut in. That was my home. My wife. You were screwing around with my life. He takes a step closer, his fists tight at his sides. You think you're some kind of saint? Vanessa told me everything. Said you checked out years ago. Said you barely touched her. That you, Spare me, I interrupt. Whatever fantasy you two came up with to make yourselves feel better, save it. I'm not interested in your excuses. He slams his fist onto the roof of my car hard, the sound echoing across the empty lot. Then he turns and walks away, his shoulders hunched like a man finally realizing the fallout of his choices. I watch him go. No fear. No joy. Just clarity. Later that night, back at the motel, I boot up my laptop and open the folder labeled Untold Stories. I find a draft I started 3 years ago. Just a few scattered paragraphs full of hope written by a man who still believed in second chances. I highlight everything. Delete. And in its place, I type a new title, The Quiet Ruin. Then I begin to write. The unraveling of a life doesn't always come with fireworks or sirens. Sometimes it arrives in total silence. A Tuesday afternoon. A husband coming home early. A truth too loud to ignore. And in that quiet collapse, something shifts. The end of a story, yes, but also the birth of a new one. For the first time in years, my fingers actually move with purpose across the keyboard. No second-guessing, no backspacing every other word. The story flows from me like it's been waiting all this time, waiting for the dam to break. Outside, that buzzing motel neon sign flickers against the window, casting pulses of red light across the room. And inside me, something finally settles. It's not joy. It's not peace exactly. But it's the quiet steadiness that comes when you finally know what has to be done and you're ready to do it. After a week in this rundown room, I send Vanessa a single text. Coming by at 3 p.m. to pick up personal items. No drama. Don't call. She texts back right away. Please. We need to talk. I ignore it. At exactly 2:05, I park in front of what used to be her home. No blue pickup in sight this time. I sit there for a moment, collecting myself. My hands grip the wheel as I steady my breath. From the outside, the house looks exactly the same, white siding, navy shutters, the old maple tree I planted when Caleb was born now brushing the second-floor windows. But nothing about this place feels familiar anymore. When I walk through the front door, Vanessa's waiting for me in the living room. Her eyes are puffy, rimmed red, her fingers strangling a balled-up tissue. She's wearing one of my old college sweatshirts, the Northwestern one I haven't seen in years. It looks wrong on her now. Like a stranger broke into my past and put it on. Ethan, she says, her voice brittle. I'm so sorry. Please, just let me explain. I don't stop. I don't speak. I just walk right past her and head toward the stairs, keeping my face blank even as my pulse hammers in my chest. She follows close behind, her footsteps soft on the wood. I was lost, she pleads. You weren't yourself anymore. You were here, but you were gone. I didn't know how to reach you. At the foot of the stairs, I turn and face her. The words I've been rehearsing for days come out calm, measured. Being lonely doesn't give you permission to cheat, Vanessa. I was lonely too. I didn't run to someone else. I still loved you. She breaks then. The tears come hard, dripping down her cheeks. Love me? I repeat, voice quiet but sharp. You've been sleeping with him for 6 months. You lied to my face, gaslit me every time I sensed something was off. If that's what love looks like to you, then I want no part of it. She presses her palms into her eyes, voice cracking. Logan Price didn't mean anything. He made me feel seen. And what about me? I ask, softer now. Did you see me at all? Any part of me? In the last 10 years? She doesn't answer. Upstairs, I pack quickly. Clothes. Toiletries. My laptop charger. I don't look at the bed. I can't. On the dresser sits a photo, Yellowstone, 7 years back. Caleb on my shoulders, Emma wrapped around Vanessa, all of us grinning in the sun. I pick it up, thumb brushing across our faces. Then I set it down. Some things I'm not ready to take with me. And then my thoughts shift to the kids. Caleb's going to be furious, not at her, but at me. That's how it usually goes. Emma? She's the one I'm scared for. She already carries a quiet kind of sadness I don't know how to fix. And this will only add to it. When I come back down, Vanessa's standing in front of the door, arms crossed like she's holding herself together with whatever strength she has left. Are you really leaving me? She asks, barely above a whisper. I look her straight in the eye. No, Vanessa. You left me a long time ago. That breaks her. The tears turn into sobs. Her whole body trembles with it. And for a second, just a second, I see the woman I married. The one I held through storms, through sickness, through heartbreak. The one I promised forever to. But comforting her now would be a lie. We're far past that. I step around her, suitcase in hand. You weren't exactly a perfect husband, she snaps through her tears, one last jab, sharp and desperate. I pause at the door, hand on the knob. You're right, I say. I wasn't. But I never betrayed you. And with that, I pull the door closed behind me. The click of it echoes through me like the final punctuation mark at the end of a 21-year chapter. Outside, everything feels surreal. The front yard glows in soft winter light. The Christmas wreath Vanessa just hung last week feels like a cruel little joke now. I walk to my car without looking back. Each step is a quiet goodbye to the life I thought I had. Back at the motel, I power up my laptop and open the file I started the night before. This time, the words come easily, not from anger, but from clarity. I didn't lose a wife today. I let go of a ghost. The woman I married disappeared slowly, so slowly I didn't even notice the stranger she became. And maybe I disappeared too. Maybe we both faded out together, one misconnection at a time, until we were nothing more than silent shadows brushing past each other in the hallway. It took someone else to flip the light on. I leaned back in the creaky motel chair, listening to the hum of the ice machine outside my door. I'm not happy. I'm not healed. But I'm finally honest with myself. And after years of pretending, years of telling myself we'd circle back, find our way again, there's something almost freeing about the rawness of the truth. Lies wear you down. But the truth? Even when it guts you, it lets you breathe. I don't have to fake it anymore. That thought alone feels like oxygen. I unlock my phone and scroll to Caleb's number. The kids deserve to hear this from me, not through whispers passed between neighbors. This will be harder than anything I said to Vanessa. But I owe them the truth. I owe them a father who's fully there, not just physically in the room, but actually present. I tap call and bring the phone to my ear, eyes locked on the snow starting to fall outside the motel window. Whatever's coming next, at least I'm not running from it anymore. Somehow, over time, the motel starts to feel like home. Not in the warm, nostalgic way, but in the quiet, grounding kind of way you get when your world's been stripped down to bare essentials. I fall into new routines, ones I never could have managed in my old life. I start waking up before sunrise, writing for 2 full hours before getting ready for work. At night, I walk, long, steady walks through unfamiliar streets until my thoughts finally slow down. Weekends, I join a local running group at the park. No one knows what brought me there. I like it that way. I'm just the guy who jogs, not the guy whose marriage collapsed. One night, I submit a short story to a writing forum under a fake name. The feedback hits hard, brutally honest, but real. I revise, resubmit, repeat, and then something strange happens. The words don't fight me anymore. It's like the crack in my life has become a channel. Everything that was blocked for years finally has somewhere to go. 3 weeks after I walked out, Caleb sends a text. Stop pretending you're the victim. I invite him to the motel. I don't expect him to actually come. But the next evening, he shows up. You can feel the anger coming off him like heat. The room suddenly feels 2 sizes too small for his fury. You're a coward, he snaps, pacing between the bed and the tiny TV. You just bailed. Left us. Walked out like we didn't matter. Is that what your mom told you? I ask, keeping my voice steady. She didn't have to say a word. I see her cry every night. Emma barely eats. And you're just here like none of it means anything. I let him unload. 20 minutes of rage, hurt, accusations. I take all of it. Then I speak quiet, calm. Do you want to hear the truth, Caleb? Or do you want to stay mad because it's easier? His eyes narrow. What's that supposed to mean? It means you don't know everything. Because I haven't told you everything. I didn't want to drag you or your sister into it. Something flickers in his face. A crack. Doubt slipping in. He doesn't ask questions. Doesn't press for answers. Instead, he grabs his coat. Whatever, Dad. Keep telling yourself that. But as he walks out, I catch it, not just the anger, but confusion. And it's enough. Not peace. But the first crack in the wall. A week later, I get a call at 2 a.m. Denver police. Caleb's been picked up at a party, possession of MDMA. By the time I reach the station, the bravado's gone. He's scared. I don't yell. I don't scold. I just tell him, I'll get you a lawyer. But you're going to face this like a man. He stares at me, waiting for the usual. For Dad to fix it, smooth it over. But I don't. This time, I don't shield him from the cost. The lawyer I hire is sharp, no nonsense. When the court offers probation and community service, I shake my head. I want the judge to consider a residential diversion program, I say. She raises an eyebrow. Are you sure? He needs to face himself, I explain. Not just hide behind his mom's apron strings. Caleb doesn't say a word for the first month in the program. Then a letter arrives at the motel. His handwriting is a mess, angry, pressed hard into the paper. I hate you for putting me here. But I think I get it now. You didn't abandon me. You saved me in a way I wasn't ready to understand. It's not forgiveness. But it's better. It's the start of something honest. Emma reaches out in her own way. A phone call one afternoon, voice quiet. Can we meet? There's a coffee shop near school. When I walk in, she's already at the table, hands wrapped around a mug of hot chocolate, her eyes red but steady. I thought you were gone forever, she says, stirring without drinking. I reach across and take her hand. I left your mom, sweetheart. But I never left you. She nods and a single tear slips down her cheek. Mom's different now, she says. Quieter. But when I talk to her, she actually listens. People change, I tell her. Sometimes only when they have no choice. After that, something in her starts to bloom. Her grades go up. She starts volunteering at the community garden on weekends. She picks up a part-time job at the bookstore near school, the one I used to take her to for story hour when she was 5. One night at dinner, she slides a brochure across the table. Summer Youth Leadership Program, only 10 spots in the whole state. I want to apply, she says, eyes on her plate. But do you think I'm good enough? My chest tightens. Not just good enough, I tell her. You're so much more than you know. Even the house changes. When I drop her off one night, I notice the new hardwood floors. Vanessa finally replaced the carpet she always hated. The heavy old drapes are gone, replaced with soft, sheer curtains. There are fresh flowers on the porch. Vanessa looks different too. Not better, just more aware. Shoulders straighter. Hair cropped short. The chaos in her eyes is quieter now. She doesn't avoid my gaze anymore. I'm volunteering at the Women's Center, she says one afternoon as I pick Emma up. Divorce support group. I nod, not sure what to say. She adds quickly, not because it fixes anything. Just because I need to feel useful. Like I'm doing something that matters. We've settled into something like a rhythm now. Civil, quiet. We text about schedules. We make polite small talk during pickups. The raw edge is duller. The wound is healing, slowly, into scar tissue. Then, one evening 6 months after I left, Vanessa stops me as I'm heading out the door with Emma's science project in hand. And what she says next changes everything. I know I have no right to ask for forgiveness, Vanessa says, her voice even but raw. I just want you to know I'm working on myself. Not to get you back, I know the chapter's closed, but because I need to be someone I can live with again. For the first time in months, I actually look at her. Not through the lens of the past, not through the betrayal, just as she is now. She isn't the woman who shattered me. And she isn't the girl I once fell hopelessly for, either. She's someone else entirely, someone still in the process of becoming. I hope you find what you're looking for, I say, and for once, I mean it. As I drive away, I realize something else. That fire I'd been carrying, the one made of anger and hurt and bitterness, it's finally burned out. And in its place, there's something quieter. Not joy, but a calm. A direction. I'm finally heading towards something instead of away from everything. That night, I gather the courage and send the first 3 chapters of my novel to a literary agent. The story's not done, but neither is mine. The difference now is, I'm the one holding the pen. 19 months after I walked out of that house, I sign a lease on a small cabin just outside Durango, Colorado. My company fully transitioned to remote work, and with nothing tethering me to Denver anymore, I go where the silence is. The kids come visit every other weekend. It's a long drive, but peace is worth the mileage. The cabin sits nestled in a thicket of ponderosa pines, with distant blue-gray mountains rising in the backdrop. It's not fancy. 2 small bedrooms, a dated kitchen, and a fireplace that smokes a little too easily when the wind kicks up. But it's mine. The first place I've ever had that really, truly feels like mine. I set up a little workspace by the window that faces the forest, a second-hand desk, an ergonomic chair I splurged on for my back, and shelves built from old lumber I found in the shed out back. Mornings start at dawn. I write for 2 hours before logging into work. Evenings, I lace up my boots and hike until the day's stress is nothing but sweat and stillness. For the first time in my adult life, I'm not measuring myself against anyone else's expectations. It's equal parts terrifying and exhilarating. One Saturday at the local farmer's market, as I'm weighing squash in one hand and a loaf of sourdough in the other, I hear someone call my name. I turn to see Claire Maddox, standing by the tomato stall, grinning. Ethan Walker, she says, her eyes warm. Still hiding from the sun, I see. It's an old joke, a callback to how pale I used to look under the office lights back at ResTech, where she led the UX team 6 years ago. We end up grabbing coffee at a little place down the road. Conversation flows like we're old friends, even though we never really were. She's divorced, too. Moved here to care for her aging parents. When she asks what brought me to Durango, I don't sugarcoat it. I tell her the whole story, Vanessa, the betrayal, the motel, the kids, the slow rebuild. She doesn't flinch. Doesn't offer pity. Just nods and says, "So, you're writing again?" I blink. "How'd you know I used to write?" She laughs. "You turn team meeting minutes into short stories." Nobody does that unless they've got ink in their bloodstream. We start seeing each other more. Casual at first, hiking trails I hadn't explored, dinner at my cabin, trading books. She brings novels. I share pages of the manuscript I'm slowly, steadily finishing, a story about a man whose life turns to quicksand and how he claws his way to solid ground again. You're a writer, Ethan, she tells me one evening as we sit on the porch and watch the sun drip gold across the mountaintops. You always were. You just forgot. On a warm spring afternoon, she leads me up a steep trail I've never hiked. It cuts through aspen groves where the breeze dances through leaves like whispers. At the summit, we sit side by side as the valley stretches out below us. Life doesn't stay broken, she says softly. Not if you're brave enough to start stitching it back together. I reach for her hand, calloused and rough from her weekend woodworking, solid and real. From my pocket, I pull a small velvet box. I don't need saving, I tell her. But ever since you walked into my life, I haven't wanted to walk alone anymore. Her eyes fill. Her smile shines. Yes, she whispers. And when she kisses me, it feels like the last piece of forgiveness life had been holding onto finally given. We get married that fall in the aspen grove where I proposed. It's a small ceremony. Caleb stands beside me as best man. Emma is Claire's maid of honor. Caleb's now in his first year of college, studying environmental science. During his toast, he gets quiet, then says, "My dad's not perfect, but he's the bravest person I know. Thank you, Dad, for not giving up. Not on us. Not even when it hurt too much to keep going. I barely keep it together." The final divorce papers arrive a week after the wedding. Vanessa and I meet one last time at the attorney's office to sign them. She looks well, healthier than she has in years. As we walk to the parking lot, she asks, "Do you forgive me?" I take my time with the answer. "I don't carry it anymore," I say. "And I don't need forgiveness to move forward." She nods. No defensiveness. Just understanding. "The kids are lucky to have you," she says. "They're lucky to have both of us," I reply, and for the first time, it feels completely true. That night, Claire and I sit by the fireplace in our cabin. A half-empty bottle of wine between us. Her head rests on my shoulder, her breathing steady. "I didn't think I'd survive any of this," I say, more to myself than to her. She doesn't say anything. Just squeezes my hand gently. And I realize, I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm living. The next morning, I step out onto the porch, coffee in hand, as sunlight filters softly through the pine trees. Everything feels still, like the world is pausing just long enough for me to breathe it in. My laptop sits open on the railing beside me. The screen glows with the final line of an email I've read over a dozen times. Attached is my manuscript, the one I've been shaping, bleeding into, and rebuilding for 3 years now. Title, "What You Couldn't Take, Myself." A story about loss. About choices. About standing back up. I hover, then click send. Gone. And in its place? A quiet weight lifts off my shoulders, the kind that tells you you've done what you were meant to do. From inside the cabin, I hear Claire humming along to the radio, wildly off-key and unapologetically loud. She's probably burning toast again. I wouldn't change a thing. The scent of coffee and pine weaves through the air like some forgotten memory of peace. I smile, turning back toward the doorway, toward warmth, toward love, toward a life I never imagined I'd get to live again. Sometimes the whole world has to break, just so you can see what's actually worth putting back together. And this time, I'm only keeping the pieces that feel like me.